Hello everyone, welcome back to AlgoChat. So we are following the SQL 50 study plan provided by LeetCode. So here we have done 8 questions already, and now, sorry, 7 questions already. Now we are going to do customer who visited but did not make any transaction, which comes under basic joins in today's video. So if you are new in the playlist, so I recommend you to just go through the videos which we have done already. So it will build your concept and it will give you the flow to understand the problem. So yeah, let's continue with our problem for this video. So you can see here it's problem number 1581, and it's easy. So we have given two tables, visit and transaction. So the schema of visit table is column name, where we have visit ID and customer ID. So we have two columns in visit table, which is of type integer. So here visit ID is the primary key, and the customer ID contains the integer type of values, or let's say the ID given to the customers. Okay, so here we have two columns, and in transaction table we have three columns: transaction ID, visit ID, and amount ID. So here, if you can see visit ID, we have both in common, and we have two tables. Okay, so my intuition coming to me is that I have to use joins. Okay, uh, regardless of we know already that we are doing the join section. Okay, so these are the schemas of the table provided to us, and here if you see, transaction ID is the primary key for the table, and the visit ID will be the foreign key because it's common in both, and it will use to establish the connection between the two tables. Okay, so that is foreign key, and we have amount, which is an integer. So let's see what the question is asking to us to do. So we have to provide a solution to find the IDs of the user who visited without making any transaction. So if you can relate, it's like we are working in a mall and we want to see that how many customers visited without making any transaction. Okay, if let's say I own the shop, and I want to track that how many customers are just coming for the sake of window shopping, not to actually make any transaction or to purchase anything. So here the problem is that we have to find the IDs, find the customer IDs who, who have not made any transactions and how many times they visited. Okay, so this is also the thing we have to count, that we have to count the visits of the customers. They have not made any transaction. Okay, so we have to count the visits of the customer, and we have to count that how many times they visited and not made any transaction. So I hope the question is clear to you. Let's take this example. Okay, so let's take this example in our notepad. So here if you see, so here if you can see, we have visited table. Okay, we have transaction table. So these are the values in our tables. So visit ID is the unique or primary key for the primary key. Okay, visit ID is the primary key for the table, and you can see the customer ID associated. Okay, then if you can see, we have transactions. So transaction ID, it's the primary key for the table, and we have visit ID and the amount. Okay, so here the amount is of no use because we just have to return the customer IDs. We have to return the customer IDs. Okay, so, or we can say we have to return the visits, that how many times this customer visited but not made any transaction. So we need the help of transaction table to find out that how many transactions or which visit ID made the transaction. If you can see here, so the visit ID 5, 1 and 2, okay, the visit ID 5, 1 and 2 has made the transaction. So let's say this 5, okay, this 1 and 2, 5, 1 and 2 made the transactions. Clear? So what we have to return, we have to return the customer IDs which have not made any transaction. So which IDs, which customer ID or visitor ID has not made any transaction? 4, 30, then 6, 96, then 7, 54, then 8, 54. So here if you can see what we have to return according to question, we have to return the customer IDs and the count. Okay, so if we read the problem once again, so write a solution to find IDs of the user who visited without making any transaction and the number of times they made this type of visit. Like the customers made. This type of visit means the customer which are coming and not making any transactions. So here if you see, the customer ID 54 has visited 2 times, 96 visited 1 times, 30 visited 1 times. So what will be our result? Our result will be customer ID 54, customer ID 96, customer ID 30. So 54 has done these kind of visit. These kind of visit means these kinds where they have not made any transactions. So count of no transaction. So how many times 54 visited but not made any transaction? One time he visited and made the transaction, but rest of the 2 times he not made any transactions. And 96 visited 1 time, 30 visited 1 time. So this will be our output. Now, how we will reach to this output using our SQL query? Okay. So if you could see, we have to take the help of we have to take the help of 2 tables. So here comes the concept of joins. We have to join the table. Okay. What is essential, or the what will be our left table? Left table is the table from where we will take whole entries, and we will take the matching entries from the right. So if you could see, we have visit in between. Okay. So we have visit in between. So we will use visit as our foreign key between table 1 and table 2. Okay. So here we will learn new things or new clause of SQL. Okay. So see what we have to do. We have to count. So we have to count the number of time any customer visited. So count means first of all we have to make the joins because we have to interact with the other table. Okay. So we will make the joins. Then we have to make the count. So we will use count. Okay. So let's see this while doing the code. So now we know the output and we have to come to that output. Okay. So see, slowly we will learn what we will do. We have to select what we have to select. We have to select the customer ID. Okay. So where is the customer ID? In visits table, we have customer ID, comma. Then what we have to select? We have to see there will be 2 columns in the output. First is my customer ID, and what is second? Count where they have made no transactions. Okay. So what I have to count? I have to count such visits where they have not made any transactions. So simply I am just converting what I am saying into the code. So what I have to count? I have to count the number of time. I have to count the number of time they have visited but not made any transactions. So my second column will be I have to count what I have to count. Count the visits. I have to count the visit, and where is visit? Visit is present in the visits column, visits table. So I have to count the visits. Okay. I have to count such visits where the customer ID has not made any transactions. Clear? So just look it in a positive. Let's say we have customer ID here first, then we have visit ID. So just look the table 1 in reverse manner. So let's say this 54, then it's a 96, then what else? No, 96, 23, 9, 30. 23, 9 and 30. And let's say visit ID 1, 2, 3. It's an example of 4, 5, 6. So we know that 54 has made 2 visits, 1 and 2, and I have visit ID, and corresponding to that I have transaction ID, or visit transaction ID. Okay. So if I found any transaction ID 2, 9 or 3 in front of this visit, then the customer ID or then the visit has the transaction. If it is getting complex or more complex to you, then just to let me know. I will make one more video in a simplified way, or in whichever what will be your suggestion, then I will implement that and I will try to make the video in such manner. So now just follow me. Okay. So we are just looking the table in reverse manner. So I have let's say 54, 96, 23. So I have what I'm doing. I am explaining the by I have written count of visits. So I have to count the visits where the customer ID has not made any transaction. Let's say I don't have any transaction in front of 1. I don't have any transaction in front of 3. I don't have any transaction in front of 5. So let's say this 1, 3 and 5 visit don't have any transactions. So the customer ID associated to this visit will be 54, 96 and 9. 54, 96 and 9. They don't have any transaction and the count is 1, 1 and 1. But let's say if the 54 came and we don't found any transaction in front of this, so we have to count this visits also, this visit also, so it will be 2. So what we are doing, we are counting the unique visits. We are counting the visits of the customer, which is 54, in front of which we don't find any transactions. So that's why we have used count here. We are counting the visits. Okay. So what we have to return, we have to return select visit customer ID we have to return, and we have to return the count of visits. So visit is the unique ID, that's why we are making the count in front of which we don't have any transaction. So this is the reason for this. So we have done till here. Now, so what we have to do, here the column name is count no transaction. So I have to return the count below that or under that column. So that's why I'm writing this count as it is. Okay. So yeah, done till here. So from where I have to select? I have to select this from the join of both the table. Select this from what is first table, visits, left join. Why I am doing left join? Because I have to consider all the visits or all the customers, all the visits from the table 1 and the matching from the table 2. Visits left join, and we have second table, just transaction. Transactions, left join transactions on visits dot visit ID equals to transactions dot visit ID. So here visit ID is a foreign key. Visit ID. Okay. Now the condition is where. So we have joined the table. We know what we have to return. Now the condition is we have to follow the condition that such visits which don't have any transactions. So where transactions dot transaction ID is null. Let's say here I explained you that I don't found when I have applied the join on customer ID, we have visit, we have transaction ID. If I don't find any transaction in front of this visit, so what I will get null. I will get null. If I found the transaction, I will get the transaction ID as 3 or 2 or anything. And so we have what we have to consider. We have to consider the null. Okay, so we have to consider the transaction ID is null, and how we have to return. So see, now what we have to do. What we have 54, 54, 96, 28. We have visit 1, we have visit 2, we have visit 3, we have visit 4. So how we have to return? We have to group it. We have to group it, or let's say we have to count it based on the customer ID. So what we have to do? We have to group the result by customer ID. So this is it. What our logic is, we are just translating it into our code, SQL code. SQL code is nothing but like the writing the English sentences. Okay. So what we have group. We have to group this by customer ID. So let's say I have customer ID 2 times, so it will have 54, 2, 96, 1. Clear? So here we are introducing one more clause, which is group by customer ID. Group by customer ID. So see, let me explain you group by. So what is group by? Group by clause, group rows that have the same values in it. So what group by clause does? It group वो क्या करेगा? वो जो same values है, ठीक है, जो same values है कॉलम में, उसको ग्रुप कर लेगा, ठीक है. So for example, it is used in the questions like uh, find the number of customers in the country. So here we have to group by the country. We have to find the number of customers by country. So country will be our group. So here what we have to do, we have to find the number of visits by the customer ID. So here customer ID will be our group by. So group by also we use this group by when we use aggregation function like count, sum, max, min. Okay. So when we use this aggregate function, we use this group by. Why we use this group by? Because we have to group the visits according to the customer ID. Okay, so this is it. Let's try and run this. Yeah, it's accepted. Let's submit this problem. Yes, it's accepted, beating 97%. So yeah, this is our third problem of our basic joins. So I hope you are feeling, or I hope you are getting that slowly we are increasing the complexity of the questions. So now what we have introduced group by, we have introduced joins, left joins, and we have know what is alias. Okay, so slowly I am trying to explain you the things which are coming in our way, but I hope you have some basic knowledge of this group by or joins prior. Okay, so this is our solution for the problem, and we will just complete this playlist. And if you are new in the playlist, just look or just go through the uh, questions which we have done earlier. Okay, so yeah, see you in next video. We will do next problem. Okay, so see you. Bye bye. If you have any doubt, just do let me know in the comments. And if you like the content and like the explanation, so just thumbs up and subscribe the channel for upcoming videos. Okay, so yeah, bye bye. See ya.